Okay. Whew. Let's talk about learning to make things happen. Blah, blah, blah. Learning to make things happen for you instead of to you. All right. What am I talking about? And before anybody gets triggered or offended by anything I proceed to say from here, let me just share with you. I am also talking to myself. This is prior Courtney. This is past Courtney. This still shows up nowadays. This is an ongoing thing. You know why? Because we have a human brain, and this is just how it functions. Our primitive brain and our ego brain just love to jump in and try to keep us safely in our boxes. So that's where this shit comes from. So that doesn't mean anything's wrong. It doesn't mean you should feel shame or bad for yourself or get pissed off that I'm bringing it up or offended. This is just is. It's just something that is, okay? So when we play the victim, when we throw that victim card out, we are rejecting the power to advocate for ourselves. And that puts us in a position where we are stuck in a cycle of just thinking about it versus finding out and stating and implementing what we need. We tend to not make our decisions. We tend to not take very much action. And if we do take action, it's not actually action that brings us closer to what we need and want. And typically those actions that we're doing, they feed us in a different way. It feeds our need, but not in a constructive way. And being able to figure out what that means and what need is being left unmet is how we can help ourselves. But we have to be able to advocate for ourselves, set up boundaries, and have compassion and grace for ourselves. Our struggles are our own unique things, but the process is always the same. We can look at the things we go through, our struggles, we can look at them as stepping stones of growth or as weights pulling us under to drown in despair, regret, and shame. And just say, it wasn't meant to be. Things never work out for me. I always screw up. This is how life is. It's all in the perspective. Because literally, every time we screw something up, there is something to learn from that. Like, oh, but when I did this like that, this happened, and I didn't want that to happen. Now I know not to do that, but maybe we could try doing it like this instead. Or maybe we need to add this in. Maybe we need to ask for some advice in this because I've realized I am out of my realm of my zone of genius and I just can't seem to figure this shit out. Every day we work on ourselves. Not because we are not yet good enough or worthy. This isn't a if this, then that circumstance. And by that, I'm saying, like, I thought there was a negative connotation to saying, like, I'm working on being better at something. I'm working on learning how to manage my need for security. I'm working on becoming a better coach. And I used to think, I'm literally talking about when I went to bed last night and when I got up this morning, used to think that was a bad way to think about things because it meant that I wasn't where I needed to be yet and that I didn't deserve to have any of the experiences that come with wanting to be good at those things. But what I've realized is every day we work on ourselves. We just are. Every day we're just working to be better than we were the day before. And that does not mean that there's a certain point of better that you need to achieve in order to receive any kind of benefits or good feeling or worthiness. You're already there. You're already worthy. You're always just getting even better. Even better. The reason we just keep working is because if we stay still, we'll grow stagnant and rigid, and our joy will be depleted. Action is the main feeder of motivation. Continually doing the things and making sure that when you're doing the things that you're doing are actually fueling you and not draining you. There's so many different things I can share about this, but a very simple one is December 1st, 2017, I quit smoking cold turkey. I've lost count of the number of times I quit smoking prior to that. I had tried to quit smoking, and then I would start smoking again. I would quit again, I would start. I would quit, start. But all those times that I quit and restarted were not failures. They were not. It didn't mean that I sucked. It didn't mean that I was stupid. It was me working through shit. I was a stress eater and smoker, and one of my ways of managing my stress was smoking, amongst other things. I had to sit down and really do an analysis after multiple times of quitting and starting. I had to do a really deep analysis to find out what need I was serving myself with by smoking when I didn't want to smoke. I didn't even like it. And when I finally figured that out, I was able to attack the process from a totally different angle. And I would not have been able to have gotten to that point of that analysis had I not had all those tries that failed in the past. And because of that, I also know how this applies to any other area in life. We don't just come out of the womb and know how to run, walk, dance, skip, hopscotch. We learn all those things, and we suck at it when we first start. We fall, we trip, we get, skinned knees, we bump our heads, we do all sorts of things, but we learn. And even after we've learned, sometimes we get tripped up. And you know what? It's okay, because we're humans, and we need to have some grace for ourselves in that respect. And so I realized that no matter what, I figure things out. And that is a superpower. I am resilient and tenacious. These are things I need to share with myself. I don't need to delegate all of my hours to productivity. But I do need to believe in myself, which goes back to my other video about belief. Honest to God, the things we tell ourselves carry a lot of weight with ourselves and the way others around us treat us and what we allow for ourselves to be treated. I've got one more thing to share with you guys. So I hope you listen to the next video, and I hope you, I appreciate you and sitting through my ramblings, because it's been so long since I've had my phone that this stuff is all spilling out of me. I literally got up today and sat down with some self-reflection and some prompts, and a floodgate was opened. I had a block, and I finally have unleashed the block, and the flow is coming, and I want to share everything. Well, it's raw, because for me that's the best way to share it. So I share it raw, and it comes off a little unprofessional, a little chaotic, and a little all over, but I'm telling you, it's the full me, and that's the best way I like to share stuff.